Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Stephanie and I am obsessed with personal development and tea. And today we're going to talk about the nervous system and motivation. Because let's be honest, if motivation worked alone, you would already have everything that you wanted to have. Because the truth is, you don't need another podcast, you don't need another pep talk, you don't need another conference to go to. What you need is a nervous system reset. Motivation is short term. Nervous system regulation is sustainable. So, you want to know a fun fact? Out of all the people that attend events, conferences, do you want to know how many people actually create meaningful change in their lives? It'll probably surprise you. It's 5%. 5% of people actually make meaningful change after they attend a motivational event. And I do not say this to be sad or depressing. I say that to think about how you are using your tools and your systems to create meaningful change in your life. Motivation lives in excitement. It lives in the dopamine. It's totally short term. And so a lot of times we continue to chase motivation because it feels productive and it feels like we're inspired and we're doing something. And it absolutely does something. Think of it like this. Motivation is like the spark of a flame. I really feel that it can ignite true meaningful change. I have seen some really amazing keynote speakers who have changed my life. You want to make sure you still have the momentum following this spark. If not, it's going to deplete and you're going to look for that spark again. Whereas what's easier, more simple, not as societally common. So you light the flame and you continue to have the motivation and momentum to keep going rather than constantly going up and down, which in itself is exhausting as well. So why does this even matter? One, the awareness of this pattern is huge because now you can understand the shift and what you need to do to be able to make sustainable change. Okay, so how does this pattern actually look? You get inspired, you start really, really strong, right? And then you probably do too much too quickly. Side note, New Year's resolutions. Anyway, you start with the momentum and then you burn out because you're doing too much too quickly. You lose momentum. Then we shame ourselves for not doing enough. And then we think the solution is to try harder next time. Let me tell you the hard way. Trying harder does not get you different results. Honestly, it just repeats this cycle of guilt and shame for not doing what you said you're going to do because you didn't set up a good system to start with. Another way this looks is you get really, really inspired one day, and then the next day you're so exhausted. Or this one comes up a lot for me is you're doing so much, but you constantly feel like you're behind. I know someone who used to get so excited and they would get so inspired. And then the next day, they would be completely exhausted. They would feel guilt and shame for not completing the task that they said they were going to do when they were in that motivational space, right? She wasn't failing. Her nervous system just wasn't regulated. So, what did she start doing? She started slowing down her mornings and creating these little micro actions. Her nervous system was regulated enough. And then she was seeing enough progress from her micro actions that she was seeing her life beginning to change. So, what do you need to do to transition from this motivational energy to sustainable energy? What you need is a nervous system reset. And I do not mean you got to quit your life and make all these changes because no, that's not going to regulate your nervous system either. It's funny when I was first creating the script for this video, I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to throw in all these different tools." And I thought to myself, that's not really all that effective to throw a bunch of different tools at you when really a small sustainable change is what is going to impact your life the most. The one I want to share with you today is the one that has completely transformed my lives and the lives of a lot of my clients, even though it is relatively simple. A morning routine completely transformed my life. I actually read The Morning Miracle by Hal Elrod, an absolute great book if you're looking to get into starting a morning routine. If you're like, hey, you know what, I have a morning routine, but I really want to like up level it, the 5 a.m. Club is also an incredible book. You might be saying, okay, a morning routine sounds great, Stephanie, but what do I actually do? Well, There are so many things that you can do. I want to start with, you could do whatever you want. I'll give you some ideas, but don't get stuck too much on one item over the other, because a morning routine is very specific to you. And honestly, my morning routine has changed with like the needs that I've had over time as well. So something that's been a constant for me is meditation has been huge. Reading has been huge. Gone in and out of phases of doing some yoga. You can do skincare. There are really so many options. You can honestly just have quiet time with like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or journaling. There's really so many options. And so just think about which one of those resonates with you the most. Pick one, just one for now. You can always add more later. So much easier to build on a habit than to try to create 5 new habits at once. So my challenge for you is going to be pick one morning routine item. You can even add something that wasn't on our list today, and I want you to do it for 7 days. Okay. And then what I want you to do is I want you to reflect. There's a couple of reflection questions for you. Then after the week is over, what I want you to do is reflect on how you felt. So a couple questions for you. How do I feel physically, emotionally, mentally? 2, how did I feel if I skipped a day? If you skipped a day. And 3, what part of this morning routine feels forced or unnecessary? And so the reason we want to add in this part of the reflection cycle is there could be parts of your morning routine that you just feel are forced and you're just going through the motions and they're not effective. You don't have to do them. I've changed my morning routine all the time. I used to do affirmations and they were great for a while. And eventually I was just sitting there like, saying the affirmations, and it was so ineffective. I just dropped it from my morning routine. I still do affirmations sometimes, but it was no longer working for me. And while it's an incredible tool, you have to realize what feels good for you in the moment and what doesn't. And sometimes it changes. After you finish your first week, I actually want you to repeat the cycle 3 times so that you can make it to a full month to see and play around with what morning routines you enjoy and really try to implement that habit. If this strategy doesn't work for you, that's also totally okay. Try something different. Everybody's brain is different. Everybody does things differently. I have friends who are obsessed with a morning routine. I have some friends that hate it. The question I do get a lot is, hey, Stephanie, I actually hate mornings. What can I do in place of this? Easy answer, do a nighttime routine. My nighttime routine is kind of pathetic. I hardly do anything because I'm so tired by that time of night, but it really works for other people. Or you could do it in the middle of the day, or you could do any sorts of different activities that really just get you into that regulatory state. Just remember that the small habits that you're doing are what's going to create the momentum. It's what creates the safety in your body that you're no longer forcing and pushing and grinding, and you are just flowing through tasks and things with ease. And just remember, sometimes I think it can feel like you're not doing enough when you take those small changes, but I want you to know that small changes are everything, and that is how people change their life, is by learning to integrate and successfully learn how to implement a new habit, that it no longer becomes something that you think about. Sometimes when you do too many, it can be too much for your muscle memory, and so doing one at a time is way more helpful. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. It means so much to our channel. If you liked this, our next video is going to be how to implement habits on a regulated nervous system. So definitely check that out as well. If you're looking to go a little bit deeper into nervous system regulation, you should definitely check out our Elevate Your Life course. We have an entire module dedicated to nervous system regulation and how you can use that tool to improve your life. Cheers.